What is DaVinci Resolve and why it is like it? Have you ever watched a video on YouTube or Netflix and wondered, how did they get it to look that good? Most likely an editor used software like DaVinci Resolve to shape the final product. Whether it's a short film, a wedding video, or a cinematic vlog, DaVinci Resolve is the behind-the-scenes tool that brings it all together. What is DaVinci Resolve? DaVinci Resolve is a professional editing software developed by Blackmagic Design. It's widely used in the film and media industry, and surprisingly, it's also completely free, unless you upgrade to the studio version. Unlike other editing programs that focus on just one area, Resolve combines editing, color correction, audio mixing, visual effects, and delivery all in one application. In other words, you don't need 5 different programs. Resolve does it all on one timeline. Why editors like it, and why you might too. Let's break down why editors gravitate towards DaVinci Resolve. All in one workflow. You can cut clips, color grade, fix audio, and export all within the same project. No switching apps, no wasting time syncing between tools. It keeps everything organized and efficient. Professional color grading. Resolve is famous for its color correction features. Even big budget Hollywood movies use it. You will be able to take dull footage and make it cinematic with just a few clicks and curves. The price tag. Free. The free version includes almost everything a beginner or intermediate editor could need. It's not a limited trial or light version. It's powerful and unrestricted, and that's hard to beat. Scalable for growth. Whether you're editing your first short film or working on a freelance gig, Resolve grows with you. You can start simple and learn more advanced tools like Fusion and Fairlight as your skills improve. Clean, modern interface. Compared to some older editors with outdated layouts, Resolve feels current and intuitive. Yes, it's a lot at first, but you will be surprised how quickly it clicks. Real life example. A student filmmaker recently used Resolve to edit a 3-minute short film for a festival. With only a basic laptop and no prior experience, they cut the video, fixed the audio, color graded it for mood, and delivered it in 4K. The film was selected for screening, and they completed the entire process using the free version of DaVinci Resolve. You don't need a big studio to make a professional looking video. You just need the right tool and the knowledge to use it well. Tips and tricks for beginners. Use a cut page only if you are in a rush. It's built for quick edits, but the edit page gives you more control. Organize your files before importing. A messy media folder leads to a messy project. Learn shortcuts gradually. Don't rush. Master 1 or 2 keyboard shortcuts each week. Start small. Your first project doesn't need effects or color grading. Just tell a story clearly. DaVinci Resolve is more than just an editing program. It's a complete creative toolkit trusted by beginners and professionals alike. With it, you have everything you need to start shaping your ideas into polished videos. Installing Resolve and starting a new project. You can have the best editing ideas in the world, but if you don't have the right setup, none of it gets off the ground. Step 1. Downloading and installing DaVinci Resolve. Start by heading to the official website of Blackmagic Design, and you can just click in here and here you can see DaVinci Resolve 20. You can just click in here, scroll down a bit. You will see 2 options, DaVinci Resolve Free and DaVinci Resolve Studio Paid. For now, go with the free version. It includes nearly everything you need. You can just click in here, free download now. You can choose the operating system as Mac, Linux, Windows, and Windows ARM as well. As we are using Windows, so you can just click in here. You will have to provide your details like first name, last name, company, email, phone number, country, and address as well. And after that, you can just click in here and register and download. Pro tip: choose the right version for your operating system, Windows, Mac, or Linux. Don't guess. If you're unsure, ask or double check your system settings. Once downloaded, you can go to the folder where you have downloaded. For example, you have downloaded in here, and here you can see run the installer. Follow the instructions. Default settings are fine for most. Let it install the supporting tools like Fairlight Audio Accelerator and PostgreSQL if prompted. After installation, open Resolve. If it takes a few seconds, don't panic. That's normal. For example, we'll search for that as DaVinci Resolve and click in here. Step 2. Minimum system requirements. Before we move forward, let's quickly talk about whether your system can handle Resolve. At a minimum, you should have 8 GB RAM. 16 GB is better, especially if you're working with larger or HD footage. i5 or Ryzen 5 processor or higher. A dedicated GPU is helpful but not essential for simple edits. At least 20 GB of free storage. If your machine is older, start with short, low-resolution videos. You can still practice without overloading your system. Step 3. Creating a new project. Once Resolve is open, you will land in the project manager. Think of this as your editing dashboard. Click New Project in here and give it a name. For example, DaVinci Resolve course and V1 as version 1. And you can change the location as well. But if you just want here to be saved, and you can just click on create. And just like that, your project is ready to begin. But don't start dragging clips yet. Step 4. Project settings that actually matter. Before you touch the timeline, head to the project settings, bottom right gear icon, and here you can see. When you just click in here, you will have all these settings. Here's what you should check. Timeline resolution, 1920 by 1080. Full HD is great for YouTube, vlogs, or assignments. For example, when you just click in here, you will have all of the options as well, like Ultra HD, Academy, DCI, VistaVision, and all of that. And if you want lower ones, then you can have NTSC as well. Timeline frame rate. Match the frame rate of your video clips, usually 24, 30, or 60 frames per second. And here you can see, you can just choose any of these like 24, 25, and up to 60 frames per second. Playback quality. If your computer lags, reduce the playback resolution to half. For example, when you just click in here, and you can just choose 12 frames per second. And your computer will be running smoothly. But as we are working on this one, so you can choose any of these. These small tweaks will make your editing experience much smoother. Step 5. Organize before you import. Here's where most beginners mess up. They dump everything into Resolve without organizing. Instead, make a folder on your computer called, for example, you can just click in here and go to downloads. Here we have created a folder named DaVinci Project version 1, and when you just click in here, inside it create subfolders: footage, audio, graphics, and exports. For example, when you just click in here, add new folder as videos, and select all the videos and paste it in here, and create another folder and name it as images. Select all the images and paste in here. Create another folder as audio tracks and select all of these and move it in here, and create another folder as exports. All the exported files will be in here. So here you can see, you can have audio files in here, images in here, and click in here to see all of these, and video files are in here, as here you can see. Drop your media into the right folders before bringing them into Resolve. This keeps your project neat, saves time, and avoids the dreaded media offline message later. Tips and tricks. Always name your project clearly. Avoid Untitled Project 23. You will thank yourself later. Backup your project with every few hours. Use Save As to create versions, for example Project 1, version 1, and version 2. Don't start editing until all your media is imported and labeled. It's tempting, but stay organized first. Tour of the workspace. Media, Edit, Color, Fairlight, Deliver. When you first open DaVinci Resolve, it can feel like you have stepped into the cockpit of an airplane. Buttons, tabs, panels. It looks like too much at once. But here's the secret. Each workspace or page in Resolve is designed for a specific part of the editing process. Once you know what each page does, the entire interface starts to make sense. The media page, where everything begins. Think of the media page as your storage room. This is where you bring in all your footage, audio, and graphics. You can preview clips, rename them, and even trim before adding them to the timeline. Always check clip properties here: frame rate, resolution, audio type, so nothing surprises you later. So basically, this is your media page. So you can just right click in here to create new timeline using selected bin, create a new bin, import media, and all of these options. The edit page, building the story. This is your edit page. This is where most of your time will be spent. The edit page is your timeline hub, cutting clips, moving things around, layering audio, and adding transitions. If media is your storage room, edit is your workshop. Practical example. If you're creating a vlog, this is where you will cut out the awkward pauses, sync your music, and place B-roll shots on top of your main footage. The color page, shaping the look. This is your color page. Resolve is famous for this page. The color page is where you adjust brightness, contrast, and tones to make your footage pop. You can correct mistakes like a clip shot too dark or give your project a specific mood. If you're editing a travel video, adding warm tones can make the sunset look golden, while cool tones make city shots feel sleek and modern. The Fairlight page, perfecting the sound. This is your Fairlight page. The video is half visuals, half sound. Fairlight is the built-in audio studio inside Resolve. Here you can clean background noise, balance dialogue, add music, and adjust levels. Practical example. If you recorded a class presentation but there is a hum from the air conditioner, Fairlight tools can reduce that and make your voice clear. The Deliver page, finishing and sharing. Once everything is edited, colored, and polished. The Deliver page, finishing and sharing. This is your Deliver page. Once everything is edited, colored, and polished, you had to deliver. This is where you export your video. You will choose resolution, format, and presets like YouTube or custom. Don't just hit export without checking settings. Always match your output to where your video will be published. A TikTok clip doesn't need the same format as a 4K documentary. Tips and tricks. Use keyboard shortcuts to jump between pages. Shift plus numbers. For example, if you want to go to Edit Timeline, you can just press Shift plus 4 and here you will be. Don't rush into the color page. Always lock your edit first. Save multiple project versions before heading to deliver, in case you need to revise. Now that you have seen what each workspace does, Resolve should feel less like a maze and more like a guided path. Organizing footage and media before you edit. Imagine trying to write a research paper with your notes scattered randomly across your room. You'd waste time searching, get frustrated, and probably miss something important. Editing without proper media organization feels the same way. Why organization matters? Editors often say that 50% of editing is preparation. If your clips are scattered, you will spend more time hunting than creating. Proper organization keeps your workflow efficient and reduces stress. Think of it like building a playlist. When your songs are labeled and sorted, the vibe flows seamlessly. When they are not, the mood breaks. Video editing works the same way. Step 1. Create a folder system on your computer. Before importing anything into Resolve, make a main project folder. For example, when you just click in here, and here you can see we have already created a folder named DaVinci Project version 1. Inside it, create subfolders such as, when you open this one, we have created already these ones. Footage, which includes raw video clips. Audio, which includes music, voiceovers, and sound effects. Graphics, which includes logos, overlays, and images. And sports will include final renders. This way, even outside of Resolve, you know exactly where every file belongs. Keep backup copies of your media on an external drive or cloud storage, in case your main files get corrupted. Step 2. Rename your files clearly. Instead of leaving files names like mov_1123.mp4, rename them logically. For example, when you just open this file, for example footage 1, and here you can see, here we have all footages which are named as people skiing at a ski resort, or aerial view of a solo hiker man with backpack walking. So you have already a structured name as well, or you can rename that as well if you want to. When you are scanning hundreds of clips, clear names save you precious time. Step 3. use bins in the media pool. For example, when just resolve, and here you can see no clips in media pool so far, but inside Resolve, the media pool is like your in-app filing cabinet. You can create bins that mirror your folder system. For example, a bin for interviews, a bin for B-roll, or a bin for audio. For example, when just click in here, create new bin as footage, and another one as graphics, next as audio. So you will have footages in here, graphics in here, and audio in here. This keeps your timeline uncluttered and prevents mistakes like dragging the wrong clip. Step 4. Tagging and metadata. For bigger projects, tagging clips by keywords like wide shot or close-up makes it even easier to find what you need. You don't have to use this every time, but it's a lifesaver when handling lots of footage. Practical example. A student editing a short documentary used bins for interviews, B-roll, and music. Because everything was sorted, they could quickly find the exact clip needed for transitions. Without organization, they would have wasted hours rewatching random files. Tips and tricks. Always save your project with the same name as your main folder to avoid confusion. Avoid spaces or special characters in file names. They sometimes cause glitches. Delete duplicate or unused clips from your media pool to avoid being overwhelmed. Using the timeline. Trimming, cutting, and rearranging. If the media pool is your storage shelf, the timeline is your workbench. This is where your clips, audio, and graphics come together to form the story you're telling. Every cut, trim, and rearrangement you make on the timeline shapes the rhythm and flow of your final video. What is the timeline? The timeline is a horizontal track where you lay out your clips in sequence, like placing puzzle pieces that eventually form the bigger picture. Each track can hold video, audio, or graphics, and you can layer them to add depth. For example, you import all the footages, graphics, and audio. For example, you go to footage and click in here as import media. Go to downloads. Here you will have footage. You can select all of these and click on open. And change project frame rate, and you can just change that accordingly. So change that. And here you can see all the videos have been imported. Go to master. Click on graphics, right click in here and import media. Go to graphics and you can see as large icons and select all of these. Click on open. All the images have been imported as well. Go to master, audio, and import media. Go to main folder, audio, and select all of these and click on open. And now you have to bring it on the timeline. For example, you just want video first, so you can use any of these. For now, for example, you just want to go with this one and drag this one in here and on the timeline. Here you have used the first video in DaVinci Resolve, and here you will have to select one. So for example, you just want to go with this one, click in here, drag it in here and drop in here. So you have merged two clips in here. Here you can see it makes almost 28-second video of two clips, but we just want a few seconds clip from both the videos. For that we use trimming. Trimming, refining the edges. Trimming means adjusting the start or end of the clip without removing it entirely. Think of it as fine-tuning your footage. Start trim, in point. Chop off the awkward camera rolling movement at the beginning. For example, you just go to first clip. Here you can see if you don't want the start of this video, you can just click in here and drag it as long as you need. So for example, you can have this part of the clip and still you, and here you can see now the video will start from here, and here you can see you can go at the end of the video and it makes 24 seconds. So you have trimmed 4 seconds at the beginning of this video from here. End trim, out point, cut out dead air or shaky finish at the end. For example, you just go to the end of this clip, specifically this one. So you can just click in here and go back as long as you just want to trim. So here you can see the video has been trimming. For example, you just want to go with this one, or here you can see Now the total video is 19 seconds, so you have trimmed 5 seconds at the end of this clip as well. Always zoom in on the timeline when making precise trims. You will avoid cutting more than intended. Cutting, splitting clips. Cutting is dividing a clip into smaller pieces so you can remove sections or rearrange them. The most common tool is the blade. Practical example. In an interview, you may cut out long pauses or filler words. Keep only the strongest responses. To cut the clips, you can just click in here and you can use blade to cut the clip. So you can just click in here. So for example, if you don't want this part of the clip or you just want to rearrange this one, so you can just click in here, and here you can see this one clip has been divided into two clips. The first one is in here and the second one is in here. You can delete any of these or rearrange them as well. For example, if you want to delete this one, so you can just right click in here and click on ripple delete. This part will be deleted and this part will be merged into this clip. Shortcut tip. Use the keyboard shortcut for the blade tool B and the select tool A. Switching quickly saves time compared to clicking icons. For example, you can press B for blade tool, here you can see, and press A for selection tool. So you can switch between the tools by pressing these B and A buttons. Rearranging, controlling the flow. Rearranging is simply moving clips around to improve storytelling. The order of your clips affects how your audience feels. Put the most engaging shot first to grab attention. Use reaction shots or B-roll in between dialogue to break monotony. Shift background music to match emotional beats. For example, you can just zoom out this timeline and you can just add another footage, for example this one, drag this one in here and drop it in here. But you get to know that this part should be at the first, so you can just click in here and drag it at the first. Now you will just go back in here and here you can see you have 3 different clips. To rearrange the clips, you can just click in here, and for example you just get to know that the third video clip should be at the first, so you can just click in here and drag it at the first. To bring it on the first place, so you can just drag it in here, drag this part here, and again drag this part at the beginning. So here you can see the sequence has been changed. This is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. So this is how you can rearrange clips. Pro tip: learn ripple editing. When you delete a clip, the rest of the timeline automatically closes the gap. This keeps your sequence smooth and avoids awkward empty spaces. Practical example: imagine you are editing a short travel vlog. You start with a wide shot of the city skyline. Trim the beginning to cut out a shaky camera movement. Cut the middle to remove a dull stretch. And then rearrange clips so the street performance comes before the cafe scene. With just trimming, cutting and rearranging, the story feels tighter and more engaging. Tips and tricks. Work from big to small. First cut the rough sequence, then refine trims. Use markers to note spots where you might want to add transitions later. Keeping background music on a separate audio track is easier to cut and sync. Using transitions and B-roll to improve flow. Great editing is not just about cutting clips. It's about guiding your viewers smoothly from one moment to the next. That's where transitions and B-roll come in. Transitions keep your edits from feeling abrupt, while B-rolls add variety, context, and energy to your story. Transitions, connecting the dots. Transitions are effects that help move your audience from one clip to the next. The most common and often most effective is the straight cut, but sometimes a little extra polish is needed. To apply transition, you can just click in here, and here you will have transitions tab. When you just click in here, you will have all these options like dissolve, iris, motion, shape, wipe, fluent transitions, resolve FX color, and resolve FX stylize as well. So you can use any of these. It has all these versions available. For example, you just want to go with simple one, as we have smooth cut. So this is how it will be implemented. Or if you want to go with diamond iris, you can hover over in here and this is how it will be implemented, and here you can see. And you can use any of these. For example, you can use slide one, this is how it will be implemented, and split one. Like you can have all these options available, like this one, triangle left, triangle right. So you have all these options available. But for example, if you want to keep it simple, so you can use any of these. At the start it should be like cross dissolve, and you can just drag it in here and drop it at the beginning of this timeline. Drop it in here. When you just play this video by pressing space, so this is how the effect will be. You can change the settings of that as well. When you just go to timeline, and here you can see, zoom in a bit, and you can change the duration as well. For example, you just want to keep it to 2 seconds and play this video again, press space. So you can see the difference as well. You can use all others as well, like smooth cut, this one. You can implement this one as well. So if you want to delete this one, press delete, and smooth cut, drag it in here and drop it at the beginning of this edge. And when you just play this video by pressing space, this is how it will be implemented. So you can use accordingly. Basically, you want to apply in between the clips, so you will just click in here at this transition, as we have 2 different clips. So you can use, for example, cross dissolve and drag it in here. So for example, you just want to go with cross dissolve, drag it in here and drop it in between here. When you just play this video, press space, and here you can see it gives a smoother experience rather than an abrupt change. Other transitions types are cut, simple and clean, best for fast pacing. Dissolve, crossfade, soften the change between clips, ideal for reflective or emotional moments. Wipes or slides can feel stylish when used sparingly, but overuse can look distracting. A good rule of the thumb is that if you notice the transition more than the story, it's too much. B-roll, adding layers to your story. B-roll is supplemental footage you cut over your main footage. A-roll, it adds depth, variety, and context. Examples of B-roll use: in a cooking video, close-ups of chopping vegetables while the chef talks. In an interview, shots of the office, hands typing, or people working. In a travel vlog, street scenes, landscapes, or local food. And for example, if you want to add an image, so you can just go to graphics folder, and if you want to add this one, drag it in here and drop it in here. So when you display this image, you'll have this image as if you would be talking about this group photo. Why it matters: covers cuts, hide awkward jump cuts by placing B-roll over the transition, adds meaning, show instead of just telling, builds rhythm, keep your audience visually engaged, combining transitions and B-roll. Here's how they work together. Use a cross dissolve into a piece of B-roll to ease into a new idea. Drop in quick B-roll shots to keep the pacing lively between longer clips. Replace repetitive talking head footage with relevant visuals that reinforce the message. Practical example: imagine editing a student documentary. Your interview subject describes a community park. If you only show them talking, the edit drags. But by adding shots of kids playing, trees swaying, and people walking dogs, you have not only covered cuts but also enriched the story. Tips and tricks: keep B-roll short. 2 to 5 seconds is often enough. Record more B-roll than you think you will need. You will rarely regret having extra. Don't rely on fancy transitions. Most professional editors stick to cuts and dissolves. Syncing audio with video and working with voiceovers. Have you ever watched a video where the sound didn't match the person's lips? Even a small delay makes a video feel unprofessional. That's why syncing audio is one of the most important steps in editing. Why audio sync matters? Many times, video is recorded separately from audio. For example, filming with a camera but recording sound on a microphone. To make the final video seamless, both must be aligned perfectly. Example: in interviews, the camera captures video, but the lavalier or shotgun mic records higher quality audio. You don't want both playing at once. You need to sync the external audio to the video and mute the lower quality track. Methods of syncing audio in Resolve. For example, if we have recorded a lecture that has a separate video and separate audio, for that you can just import those in here. And for example, you just want to go with these ones and click on open to import them. Now select both of these and create new timeline using selected clips and create. Click in here, zoom out it, and here you can see you have different audio and different video as well, and the video contains the audio as well. So you just want to mute this one, but sync this audio with this video. Manual syncing. Drag the audio and video clips in the timeline. Use visual cues like clapping hands or lip movement and match them with the audio waveform. Once aligned, link the video and audio tracks together. Tip: zoom in on the timeline for more precise syncing. Automatic sync by waveform. In the media pool, select the audio and video clips as we have already done that. Select all the tracks by pressing Ctrl and selecting all of these. Right click and choose Auto Align Clips, and you can click in here, select waveform and select automatic and click on sync. Now the only thing you will have to do is mute this audio track of this specific video, and this audio is already synced with this video. Resolve analyzes and matches them. Note: this works best when the in-camera mic picked up a clear scratch track. Working with voiceovers. Voiceovers are narration recordings added after filming. They guide the audience, explain ideas, and add context. Steps to work with voiceover in Resolve. Recording. You can record directly into Resolve using the Fairlight page or use external software and import the file. For that, you can just click in here. This is for voiceover. You can just click on that. For example, you just want the audio track from here, and you can click in here. You can just name that, for example, explaining audio sync, and you can just click in here to start recording. And when you just press on this icon, it just starts as 3, 2, 1, and now the audio has been recording. And when you just close this one, here you can see, when you just zoom in, this audio track has automatically been added to this timeline. Placement. Add voiceover to a separate audio track, usually below your main dialogue. Editing. Trim pauses, remove mistakes, and cut sections for pacing. Balancing. Adjust volume so it's not too loud or too soft compared to other sounds. Practical example. In a travel video, instead of showing yourself on screen explaining, "This is the Eiffel Tower," you record a voiceover and play it while showing drone shots of Paris. The viewer stays visually engaged while still getting information. Tips and tricks. Always record voiceovers in a quiet room to avoid background noise. Use a pop filter or even a simple DIY barrier, like a towel around your mic, to soften harsh sounds. Keep voiceover spacing natural. Don't rush. Imagine you are explaining to a friend. After syncing, mute the scratch audio to avoid interference. Using markers, shortcuts, and track layers efficiently. Editing is not just about making creative choices. It's also about how quickly and smoothly you can make those choices. Professional editors often work with hours of footage and strict deadlines, which means efficiency is just as important as creativity. Tools like markers, shortcuts, and track layers help keep projects organized and allow you to move through the timeline with speed and precision. Markers, your timeline post-it notes. Markers act like digital sticky notes on your timeline. You can drop them at important points such as where you want to add music, insert B-roll, or adjust audio later. How to use. Place your playhead where needed and hit M to add a marker. For example, as we have created a voiceover in here and added it on the timeline, and we just want to modify it later. For that, you can just place playhead in here and press M, and you can just name it, for example, voiceover modify later. You can just add notes as well, keyword as well, and pick the color as well. For example, you just want to add this one and note as checking voiceover quality, and click on done. So when you just place playhead in here, and it gives a message on the screen that you have to do something in here. Why it helps? Instead of memorizing everything, you create visual reminders. Practical example. While editing a lecture recording, you can mark where a slide changes so you know where to overlay graphics later. Tip. Color code markers for different tasks. Green for visuals, red for audio fixes, blue for transitions. For example, you just want to add another marker in here and place playhead in here. Click in here, you can press on this icon, and here you can see you have placed another marker in here. When you just double click on that, you can rename that as well. For example, graphics to be added. And you can just keyword as graphics. So you can choose any of these colors, but we're going with blue, so click on done. And here you can see when you just place plat in here, it gives a message in here. Shortcuts. Editing at the speed of thought. Using only the mouse slows you down. Keyboard shortcuts let you cut, trim, and navigate almost instantly. Common shortcuts in Resolve, Windows or Mac. B for blade tool, cut a clip. A selection tool, move clips. Ctrl plus C or Command plus C for undo. Shift plus C to fit timeline to view. Spacebar, play or pause. Practical example. Imagine cutting a 15-minute interview into highlights. If you rely only on clicking icons, it could take hours. With shortcuts, you trim, cut, and move clips in minutes. Tip: don't try to memorize all shortcuts at once. Learn 2 to 3 each week and build from there. Track layers. Organizing the chaos. Track layers allow you to stack multiple types of media. Think of them as shelves. Video on top, audio below, graphics above or in between. Why layers matter? They'll let you organize complex edits. Background music on one track, dialogue on another, sound effects on a third. So here you can see we have a video track in here, audio in here, and voiceover in here. You can add another track for graphics. You can just right click on that, add track, and here you can see you have another video track where you can add graphics or videos. Practical example. In a short film edit, track 1 holds the main video, track 2 has b-roll overlays, track 3 holds titles, and below are audio tracks for dialogue, music, and effects. Pro tip: name your tracks. Rename audio 1 to dialogue or music. This small step prevents confusion later. Tips and tricks. Use markers while watching raw footage. You will save time later by jumping straight to the good parts. Group related tracks together. For example, all music tracks next to each other. If your timeline looks messy, collapse unused tracks to stay focused. Basic color correction. Fixing common problems. Have you ever shot a video that looked too dark, too bright, or had colors that didn't match what your eyes saw? This is where color correction comes in. It's the process of adjusting your footage so that it looks natural, balanced, and ready for storytelling. Why color correction matters? Uncorrected footage can distract your audience. Imagine watching a video where one shot is orange tinted and the next is bluish. It breaks the flow. Correction ensures all your clips feel like they belong together. Common problems and how to fix them. Overexposed or underexposed footage. Problem: too bright, washed out highlights, or too dark, loss of detail. Leaf adjust shadows, darker areas, as we have been using in here, so you can use any of these. You can increase the reddish, greenish, or bluish, or if you want to increase the brightness, you can just use this one. And you can see the difference as we just highlight that. And if you want to go back, and here you can see. Gamma adjust midtones. You can just use this one as according to the clip that you want. So you can use the mouse, or you can enter the values as well. You can increase the brightness. You can increase the reddish one as well. And if you want this one to improve as well, the bluish one, and you just don't want that, so bring it to the 0. So this is how the clip looks now. Gain adjusts highlights, brightest areas. For example, you can use this one as, if you want to decrease the brightness, you can use this one, or you can use this one as well. That increase everything at once if you use this wheel. But if you want one at once, then you can use this one. You can adjust everything as per your requirement and the scene that you are creating. Watch your scopes, waveform or parade to avoid guessing. Incorrect white balance. Problem: footage looks too blue, cool, or too orange, warm. Fix: adjust the temperature and tint sliders. For that, you can use this one as temperature and tint as well. If you want the warm color, so you can just go increase the temperature. Or if you want to cool down the temperature, so you can just go back, or you can enter the amount as well. For example, you just write in here as minus 900 and press enter. But when you just write plus 900, you can see the difference. So this is how it changes. You can just reset to 0 for now, and when you just use tint, you can just enter the amount. For example, when you just enter the amount, for example 60, and you can see the difference. And when you just enter the amount, for example minus 35, and press enter. So this is how it changes. Increase temperature for warmth, decrease for cooler tones. Tint helps balance green or magenta shifts. Practical example: an indoor shot with yellow lighting can be corrected to look more neutral. Low contrast or flat image. Problem: footage looks dull with little separation between light and dark. For example, you just go to timeline and you have image in here, and you just want to adjust this one, so you can just go to colors, fix, increase contrast slightly and adjust saturation for richer colors. For example, you can just use contrast as a little more of that. And at the bottom you can use saturation, here you can see, to highlight each color a little more. For that you can just enter the amount, or you can use mouse as well. For example, you just want to go with 60, so you can type 60 in here. So here you can see, when you just play this video in full screen, every color has been popped up. Tip: be subtle. Overdoing contrast makes footage look artificial. Color casts across clips. Problem: one clip has a greenish tint, another looks reddish. Fix: use the color wheels or primary bars to balance them. For example, you just go to timeline and you see this one, and go to colors tab again. Here you can use color wheels as well, or if you want to go with primary colors, you can use this one. So you can adjust accordingly. For example, you want to increase this one. Oh, it doesn't look nice. So you can use any of these as per your requirement. For example, you can use this one, little this one, and so you can adjust accordingly. Practical example: when editing a campus event, indoor and outdoor shots may look very different. Correction brings them closer together. Best practices for beginners: always correct exposure before adjusting colors. Keep skin tones looking natural. They are often the best reference point. Apply corrections consistently to avoid jarring differences between clips. Use the bypass color grades button to compare before and after. You will see how much you have improved. For that, you can just go to timeline, and here you can see this is the button. When you just click in here, this was the before, and when you just click in again, this was the after. So you can see how much we have improved. Tips and tricks: record a short clip with a white sheet of paper in frame. This can serve as a quick white balance reference. If you're editing a long project, color correct one clip, then copy and paste is great onto similar clips. Trust your scopes more than your screen. Monitors can sometimes mislead your eyes. Creating a consistent look across your video. Have you ever noticed how a professional film or documentary feels seamless, even though it's made up of dozens or even hundreds of shots? That sense of unity doesn't happen by accident. It comes from giving the video a consistent look. In this lecture, we will focus on how to bring all your clips together visually, so they feel like one continuous story, rather than a patchwork of unrelated footage. Objectives of the lecture: by the end of this lecture, you will be able to understand why consistency in your video appearance is important. Match clips shot in different lighting or locations. Apply LUTs, lookup tables, and creative adjustments effectively. Create a unified visual style that supports your story. Why consistency matters. Viewers may not consciously analyze your color grading, but they will notice if one clip feels too bright while the next feels dull. Inconsistent visuals distract the audience from the story. Consistency keeps attention on your message. Step 1. Match exposure and white balance. Before adding creative adjustments, make sure each clip has balanced brightness and accurate colors. For instance, if one clip looks warm because of indoor lighting and another looks cool because it was shot outside, you will need to adjust them to avoid a clash. For example, here you can see we have divided this clip into two parts as we have to adjust an image over there. Here you can see we have two different colors in here as we have applied color grading in here but not there. Because we applied color grading on this clip specifically and we have not applied that color grading on this clip. So when you just play this video, it feels a little different. So we have to adjust them accordingly. Tip: use your scopes to compare brightness and color levels across clips. For example, you just go to color tab and go to this one, and here you will have to adjust accordingly. Don't rely on your eyes, especially if your screen is not calibrated. Step 2. Copy and apply corrections across clips. Once you correct one clip, you can copy those corrections to similar clips. For that, you can just go to timeline, copy this one as copy, and select another clip, for example this one, as here you can see there's a big difference in here, and when you play this video, you can see the difference as in here. So when you just right click on that and click on paste attributes, and here you can see we have selected color correction and click on apply. And now when you play this video, you can see that specific color grading has been applied to this clip as well. So the video feels smooth. This ensures that all clips in the same scene share the same look. Practical example: in a class project, if you filmed an interview with two cameras, you want both shots of the same subject to look alike, even if the lighting was not identical. Step 3. Use LUTs for style. LUTs, lookup tables, are preset color adjustments that can give your footage a specific mood, like a cinematic film look, a vintage tone, or a bright, punchy style. For that, you can just go to Colors tab, and here you can see you have LUTs in here. You can have ACEs, different names like ACEs when you click in here, and you will have this specific look. If you go to DJI, you will have all these options. Here you can see you can change the entire mood of the story, and this is specific one. Or for example, if you want to go with Olympus and you have this specific look, this is the brightest one. When you go to Panasonic, you will have this one. This looks like a more brighter as well. And when you just go to Red, for example, or Samsung, you will have a darker one. And when you just go to Sony, you will have all these options available, like this one, and this one as well. So when you just right click on that, you can apply LUT to current node. And after clicking on that, this specific mode will be applied on this image. But here's the trick. Don't just slap on LUT and call it done. Adjust it afterwards so it blends with your footage instead of overpowering it. Step 4. Develop a visual style for the whole project. Decide on the mood you want. For example, warm tones for emotional or intimate content, cool tones for professional or modern vibes, high contrast for dramatic effect, softer tones for casual or nostalgic storytelling. Once you decide, stick to it throughout your project. Tips and tricks. Group clips by location or time of the day and grade them together. Always do a quick playback check. Watching several clips in sequence will reveal inconsistencies you might miss otherwise. Less is more. Aim for subtle adjustment rather than heavy filters. Consistency is what transforms separate clips into a unified story. Once your project looks cohesive, you are ready to move forward with clear, professional visuals that strengthen your narrative. Audio cleanup in Fairlight. Even the best looking video can feel unprofessional if the audio is messy. Background hum, hiss, or uneven volume can distract viewers and reduce the overall impact of your work. That's where Fairlight, DaVinci Resolve's built-in audio studio comes in. Why clean audio matters. Viewers are more forgiving of imperfect visuals than they are of bad sound. Clean audio keeps attention on the content instead of the distractions. For example, in an interview, clear voices ensure your audience focuses on what's being said, not the air conditioner buzzing in the background. Common problems in raw audio: background noise, hum from fans, traffic or room buzz, uneven levels. One speaker sounds loud, the other too soft. Echo. Recordings in large rooms or spaces with poor acoustics. Clicks or pops. Microphone handling or sudden volume peaks. Key tools in Fairlight. To adjust audio or sound, you can just go to Fairlight page in here. And this is the interface. As we have uploaded a sound in here, and you can adjust it accordingly. Noise reduction. Use the noise reduction effect to lower constant hums or hiss. To apply noise reduction, we'll just go to effects in here and click on audio effects and scroll down a bit. And here you can see you have noise reduction. When you just drag in here and drop it to the audio track, it gives this interface. Now you can increase the sensitivity, attack, threshold, ratio, and smoothing as well, output as well, so you can adjust it accordingly. So if you want to increase the sensitivity, you can just click in here and use the mouse, or you can enter the amount as well. You can increase the threshold as well. For that you can just increase this one, for example 30 or 40, you can say. You can just enter the amount as well, like -40. And for smoothing, you can just increase the frequency to 1.1, and output level will be, for example, 1. So you have applied everything that was needed on this audio track. Now you just close this window, and here you can see it shows effects as this audio effect has been applied on this audio. Adjust sensitivity carefully. Removing too much can make audio sound unnatural. Tip: always preview changes with headphones. Subtle noise may be missed on speakers. Equalization. EQ. EQ lets you adjust frequency ranges. For that, you can just go to effects and scroll up a bit. And here you can see Fairlight EQ. When you just drag it in here and drop it here, you can see you will have this interface. Boost mid-range for clarity in voices. Cut low rumbles that adds muddiness. You have different bands in here and you can just adjust accordingly. So you have all these bands and you can just play with them as you need. Here you can see you can increase this one, or if you want to decrease that, you can just click in here. In fact, the sound effects depends on the videos you're working on, so you must adjust accordingly. Practical example. For lecture recording, cutting frequencies below 80 Hz removes desk vibrations without harming speech. Dynamics. Compressor or limiter. Compressors even out volume, so soft voices are raised and loud spikes are reduced. For that, you can just click in here, and here you can see you have compressor in here and limiter in here. When you just go to compressor and turn it on, so the soft voices will be raised and loud spikes will be reduced. Limiters prevent sound from distorting when the volume peaks. For that, you can just click in here and go in here and turn it on. Set thresholds gently. Overcompression can make audio sound flat. Balancing levels. Keep dialogue around consistent levels. For example, -6 dB to -12 dB. For that, you can just click in here and you can just go to -6, for example, or 6.5. And the best will be -6 as well, or 6.5. Background music should sit lower so it doesn't overpower speech. Workflow example. Imagine editing a student's presentation. The voice sounds muffled, an air conditioner hums, and the background music is too loud. With Fairlight you can apply noise reduction to remove the hum. Use EQ to make the voice clearer. Compress the audio so the volume stays steady. Lower the music track slightly to keep it supportive, not distracting. The result? A polished presentation that feels professional. Tips and tricks. Record audio in the quietest space possible. Less cleanup is always better than heavy fixes. Name your audio tracks, dialogue, music, or effects to stay organized. Always check your mix on both headphones and speakers to catch issues. Mixing music, sound effects, and dialogues. Think about your favorite film or even a YouTube video that pulled you in completely. Chances are it was not just the visuals. It was the blend of dialogue, music, and sound effects that gave it life. A well-balanced audio mix guides emotion, sets the pace, and makes content memorable. Why mixing matters? Audio mixing is like being the conductor of an orchestra. Every instrument, or in this case, dialogue, music, and effects, needs to play its part without overpowering the others. If dialogue is buried under loud music or effects, the audience loses focus. Dialogue, the anchor. Dialogue is usually the most important audio element. It should always be front and center. Balance. Keep dialogue levels steady across the project. often around -6 dB to -12 dB. EQ, cut unnecessary low frequencies to make voices clearer. Practical tip, if you have multiple speakers, balance their volumes so one doesn't dominate the other unintentionally. Music, the emotion builder. Music sets the tone, but it should never drown out the dialogue. Duck the volume. Lower the music slightly when someone is speaking. Transitions. Use fades when music starts or ends to avoid abruptness. Practical example. In a student documentary, upbeat music can play during B-roll, but when an interview begins, the music lowers to support, not compete. Sound effects. The detail enhancer. Sound effects, SFX, add realism and depth. Footsteps, typing or ambient noises create immersion. Balance. Keep them subtle. Audiences should notice them without being distracted. Layering. Combine ambient sounds with close effects. For example, street traffic plus a car horn. Tip. Don't overuse effects. They should feel natural, not forced. Practical workflow example. Imagine editing a short promotional video. Dialogue. A student introduces the campus as kept clear and steady. Music. A light instrumental track plays in the background, but dips when the student speaks. SFX. Ambient chatter and footsteps in the courtyard add authenticity. The result? A polished piece that feels professional and engaging. Tips and tricks. Use automation in Fairlight to gradually raise or lower audio levels over time. Always listen with headphones. You will get small issues you would miss on speakers. Test your mix at different volumes. If dialogue is lost when the volume is low, your balance needs to be adjusted. Add titles, subtitles, and simple animations. Titles, subtitles, and animations might seem like small touches, but they play a big role in how professional and polished your video feels. Titles introduce your content, subtitles make it more accessible, and animations keep it dynamic and engaging. Titles, setting the stage. Titles are often the first thing your audience sees. They can be main titles, section headers, or lower thirds, small labels identifying speakers or places. How to add? In Resolve, go to Effects Library. So for example, you just want to add a photo in here, so click in here and we'll just have to place that at the first and in here. So here you can see you have added an image and you just want to add title in here. First of all, zoom in a little bit. And now go to Effects tab. And here you can see you have multiple options like left lower third, middle lower third, multi-text, and all of these available. But we'll just go to, for example, we have different options available. This one, horizontal line reveal. So we just want to go with this one. So drag it in here and drop it at this image. And now click on the title in here and go to settings. You have to change the position of that. For example, you just want it to be in here so that it is visible. You can change the text as well. Now here you can see when you just play this video, here it comes, a trip to remember with 2025. It should be a short duration. For example, you can just shorten that one so that the audience don't get bored, and change that as well and delete this part. And when you just play this video, here you can see, and the next video starts. As it is about 3 seconds, so it should be in between 3 to 5 seconds so the audience can see the title as well. Design tips. Keep fonts clean and readable. Avoid overly fancy styles unless they fit your project's tone. Practical example. In a student project, use the lower third to identify an interviewee with their name and role. Subtitles. Accessibility and engagement. Subtitles are not just for viewers who are hard of hearing. They also help when people watch with the sound off, like on social media. How to add? To add that, you will have to go to Effects tab and click in here as the arrow, as we have options as subtitles. When you click in here, you have options like generators, effects, and all of these templates available. For example, you can have this one, white on red rounded, white on blue sheer, simple white, or gray on yellow background. So you can use any of these. To add that, you can just drag it in here and drop it on the timeline. Here you can see you have added the subtitle. For example, when you play this video or drag it in here, here you can see you have a text in here. When you click on that, click on title. Now you can change the text. For example, hello everyone. And matched with the audio. And for example, when you just play this video, the subtitle should be after the title, so you can add it in here and play this video. For example, here you can see you have a subtitle in here like hello everyone, and when the other one comes, so you can just shorten this one, copy this one and paste it, and you can change the text in here. This was the most memorable trip of our life. And when you just play this video like hello everyone, and here you can see this was the most memorable trip of our lives. After that, you can just drag it in here and copy that, paste it in here and write in here as this is Anna Smith, Alex, Jacob and Selena, me. So when you just adjust this accordingly, now when you just go to this timeline and click in here to full screen, play this video, A Trip to Remember 2025. Here you can see you have added subtitles and title as well. We use the subtitles tool in Resolve to create timed text that syncs with dialogue. Tips: keep sentences short and match the pacing of speech. Don't crowd the screen. Practical example: for a class presentation video, subtitles help non-native speakers follow along more easily. Simple animations: adding movement without overload. Animations bring energy to text or graphics, but subtlety is key. Basic animations in Resolve: use keyframes to make titles fade in, slide or zoom slightly. To add animation, you will have to go to keyframe in here, click on that, and for example you just want to zoom in this one. For that you can just click in here as zoom X, and as long as you want it to zoom, so click in here and drag it, and now zoom in a little bit as long as you want it to be. You can change the position as well so that people are visible, so you can just go up. Now you have added a keyframe, and when you just play this video from the start, here you can see. So this is how you can add animation in DaVinci Resolve. Best practices: keep animation smooth and minimal. Think of them as polish, not decoration. Practical example: in a promotional video, animate your title with a gentle fade in rather than a flashy spin that distracts from the message. Tips and tricks: stick to 2 or 3 fonts across your project to maintain consistency. Use white or light colored text with a drop shadow for readability on busy backgrounds. Preview your subtitles on both small, phone, and large screens to ensure they are legible. Export settings for web, social media, and clients. Finishing a video is not just about editing, it's about delivering it in the right format for the right audience. Exporting with the wrong settings can make your video look blurry on YouTube, stretched on Instagram, or too large to send to a client. The deliver page, where your work becomes a file. The deliver page is where you decide how your final video will be rendered. For that, you can just click in here. This is your deliver page. And here you can see you have all the settings in here. Think of it as packaging your project for the world to see. Key settings you will see: format, container, MP4, MOV, etc. For that, you can just click in here. Here you have options like IMF, JPEG, MKV, MP4, and WebP as well, AVI, and all other options as well. Codec, compression method. For that, you can just click in here. Here you have options like S.264 or S.265 for web. Here you can see S.264 and S.265. And other options are like Apple ProRes or Avid DN XSD for high quality delivery. Next we have resolution. When you just click in here, you have options like, scroll down a bit, here you have options like HD Scare, SD, SD, Ultra HD, and Academy, 2K and full aperture or Vista Vision as well. Or you can customize that as well. When you just click in here and click on that, click on custom, and you can just customize that accordingly. Frame rate. Match your project's timeline. For example, when you just click in here, you have options like you have set 25, but you can choose 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, or 60 frames per second. Exporting for YouTube. Use H.264 codec in MP4 format. Resolution 1920 by 1080 HD or 3840 by 2160 4K. Bitrate around 10 to 20 MB per second for HD and 35 to 45 MB per second for 4K. Resolve even has a YouTube preset that simplifies this. Upload at the highest quality you can. YouTube will compress your file, so providing a high quality source helps preserve clarity. Exporting for Instagram and social media. Square 1080 by 1080 or vertical 1080 by 1920 formats work best. Use H.264 codec in MP4. Keep file size smaller for faster upload and playback. Practical example. A vertical 15-second promo clips look great on Instagram stories, but would look awkward if exported in widescreen. Always match the aspect ratio to the platform. Exporting for clients. Clients may need higher quality files for archiving or further editing. Format: MOV or MXF. Codec: ProRes for Mac workflows, or DNXT or DNXR for cross-platform. Resolution: match original footage. Don't downscale. Bitrate: higher to preserve quality. Ask your client what they need. Sometimes they prefer a lighter MP4 for quick review and a high-quality version for final delivery. Practical workflow example. Imagine you are finishing a promotional video for students. You export a widescreen version for YouTube, H.264 and 1080 pixel. A vertical version for Instagram stories, 1080 by 1920. A ProRes master file for your client's archive. This ensures your work looks good on every platform and shows professionalism. Tips and tricks. Always double check your aspect ratio before exporting. Save your export presets in Resolve to avoid re-entering settings. Do a short 5-second test export before rendering a long video. This saves time if something looks wrong. Final project breakdown. Real edit walkthrough. We have covered the tools, techniques, and methods. Now it's time to bring them together in a complete edit. Step 1. Organizing the media. Start with a project folder containing subfolders for footage, audio, graphics, and exports. For example, you just go in here, go to Downloads. Here you have create a folder in here. Here you can see you have folders like audio, footage, exports, and graphics. Import everything into Resolve and set up bins in the media pool as we have created in here. Here you can see we have created bins for footage, graphics, and audio. When you open these, you have files in here. Like footage, we have all the footages in here. And for graphics, we have all the images in here. Label your best clips with markers so you don't waste time searching later. Step 2. Building the rough cut. Place your A-roll main footage on the timeline as we have in here. Here you can see we have main footage in here. Trim the beginning and end of clips to remove dead space. Use simple cuts to get the story in order. Practical example. In a student interview project, place the full responses first, then remove pauses and filler words. Step 3. Adding B-roll and transitions. Overlay B-roll to keep the video visually interesting. For example, we have added a B-roll as an image, and here you can see when you just play this video in here, here you can see we have just introduced a B-roll as an image. Insert transitions only when they improve flow. For example, we have used transitions in here. When you just play this video, here you can see at the beginning of this video we have added a transition. Keep transitions simple. Most professionals stick to cuts and dissolves. You can change that as well when you just click in here. Here we have different transitions like dissolve, iris, motion, shape, like this one, the box one, and the triangle left, triangle right, star one. So it just depends on the project you're working on. Step 4. Syncing and cleaning audio. Replace scratch audio with external recordings if available. Use Fairlight to reduce noise and balance levels. For example, you can just click in here. This is your Fairlight page. Here you can add an audio in here. For example, you just go to audio and place an audio in here. Add background music, keeping it subtle under dialogue. Practical example. Lower background music when an interviewee speaks. Then bring it up during B-roll segments. Step 5. Color correction and style. Correct exposure and white balance across all clips. Then apply a consistent look or light grading to unify the project. For that, you can use this tab in here. Here you have multiple options like the wheels, the graph, and all of these available. You can change everything accordingly. You can use all of these, like the colors as well, HDR, and RGB mixer as well. So you have multiple options that you can use accordingly. And you have presets named LUTs, and you can use any of these. For example, Asus, DJI, Red, Samsung, and you have all these options available like Panasonic, this one as well, Olympus, and you can use accordingly like as per the project you're working on. Always correct first, grade second. Correction fixes problems, grading shapes mood. Step 6. Adding titles and graphics. Add a main title at the beginning, lower thirds to identify speakers, and simple subtitles if needed. As we have created one in here, when you just go at the beginning, so when you just play this video, you have a title in here. Animate text with subtle fades or slides. So when you just play this video, so this is how you can add titles and graphics in DaVinci Resolve. Step 7. Exporting the final video. Choose your settings based on the destination, YouTube, Instagram, or client delivery. Export and watch the final product from start to finish to catch any errors. For that, you can just click in here as delivery page, and you can change the settings from here like format, codec, encoder, resolution, frame rate, encoding profile, and advanced settings as well, like if you want to, as pixel aspect ratio and gamma tag, and any of these like subtitle settings as well. So you can use any of these as per the requirement if you want to send to a client or publish on a YouTube or Instagram. Tips and tricks. Save versions of your project as you go. If something breaks, you can roll back. Step away for a short break before reviewing your final cut. You will spot details you missed while editing. Always test playback on a different device, like a phone, to see how others will experience your video. Course wrap up and what's next. Looking back, what you have accomplished. You have moved from opening Resolve for the first time to completing full edits with audio, color, and titles. More importantly, you have built the ability to approach editing with confidence, organization, and creativity. Think of it like learning a language. You now know the grammar and vocabulary. The next step is practicing fluency. What's next? Continuing your growth. Practice with real projects. Edit your own vlogs, short films, or presentations. Volunteer to edit for student clubs, campus events, or friends' projects. Experiment with advanced tools. Try Resolve's Fusion for motion graphics. Experiment with more advanced grading techniques in the color page. Build a portfolio. Keep copies of your best projects. Create a short showreel, 1 to 2 minutes, highlighting your strongest work. Opportunities to apply your skills. Freelance video editing for small businesses or YouTubers. Internships in media, marketing, or film. Personal creative projects like documentaries, music videos, or short films. Tips for staying sharp. Join online communities like Resolve forums or editing groups to learn tricks from others. Watch films and analyze how editing influences motion and pacing. Challenge yourself with timed projects, set a deadline, and finish an edit under pressure. This is not the end of your editing journey, it's a beginning. With DaVinci Resolve as your toolkit, you now have the skills to turn raw ideas into professional stories. Keep practicing, keep experimenting, and keep sharing your work. The best way to grow is to edit often and let your creativity lead the way.